Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. So I've got Tech Dev here on Twitter. Today I widen my circles to ovals. This is to make one thing crystal clear. I have my model-based top theory now to early 2022. So he's got the Bitcoin chart up here, taking a look at early 2022, similar to what we've been discussing on this channel, but it doesn't matter and Bitcoin doesn't care. Guys, that is the biggest thing, or one of the biggest things we should all remember. Whenever next major peak comes, whether it's a top or not, I intend to catch it, and that's all. So he's saying there is going to be one last peak. If we take a look at his chart here, we can see he maps out Bitcoin trends from 2011 all the way until 2021. And so we can see, right, the RVI down here, we can see it has peaked once Bitcoin peaked. And so in each bull run, we can see it did hit the top back in 2013. In 2017, it hit it twice. So I guess I should clarify. In each of these bull runs, it did hit the top twice. It did peak. The RVI did peak 2 times each bull run. And so 2013, we have it here. 2017, you guys can see those 2 peaks, the last one being the all-time high. We can see it down here on the RVI indicator. And now we're at 2021, and that last top for Bitcoin, the $65,000 top, that would have been the first peak for the cryptocurrency, and now we're eyeing the second one here. And so Tech Dev is saying, look, this is it. I don't care if this is the top. This would be the second time the RVI would retrace, and therefore we should be paying attention to this next and possibly final top for Bitcoin. So an interesting theory there, guys. I've got the XRP chart up here. Right now, XRP just trading just above $1. If I bring up Bitcoin here, we can see Bitcoin did rebound up past the 0.702 the other day and is now coming up finding support at the 0.786. And you can see in here, you can see every time Bitcoin did rebound, it did form a double bottom pattern. We can see that in here, it did wick down, double bottom before coming back up. And so I'm wondering, is this the double bottom right before that next bottom comes in? And then we come out of that. We're working on low volume here, so there isn't much trading going on in the crypto space. And just to bring up XRP again, XRP coming out of that slump that we saw under $1, now trading just over $1. But we're not going to see too much activity for XRP, I don't think, until Bitcoin really does finally make a move. I just wanted to go back to this too, in case you guys did not know what RVI is. I'm going to read you guys the definition here. It is the Relative Vigor Index. It is a momentum indicator used in technical analysis that measures the strength of a trend by comparing a security's closing price to its trading range while smoothing the results using a simple moving average. So that is the technical definition for it. I will leave that link in the description if you guys are interested. I thought that was interesting to point out the fact that in each bull run we have seen the RVI hit twice, top out twice before the final leg down. And so Bitcoin looking to find that second high, at least according to Tech Dev here on Twitter. So an interesting observation and some good perspective here. Wanted to thank him for posting that. It's interesting though, because he did say he would cash out at that high. However, he does not know if that is going to be the all-time high, but he said he would cash out whether it was or not. He's looking at early 2022. This all coming right at a time when we're seeing the world change and more banks getting on board with Bitcoin specifically. This coming from Michael at Val5Links. Wanted to read you guys a little bit of this. The NYDIG plans to bring Bitcoin to thousands of US banks in 2022. So now we're at the end of 2021. We're eyeing 2022. And, it's looking like Bitcoin and the rest of the cryptocurrency space is just going to get broader and broader. Bitcoin-focused NYDIG has made headlines in the past few months for its partnerships with organizations ranging from the NBA to banks and credit unions, but these announcements are just the beginning. The company's CMO, Kelly Brewster, told Blockworks in an interview. Here's a quote. "Over the course of the next year, we plan to bring Bitcoin to hundreds, if not thousands, of banks around the country, and the first banks are coming online right now." So hundreds, if not thousands, guys. This is their mandate. This is the goal that they're trying to achieve. And so that is really going to change the landscape too, I think. And, in terms of this chart here, it could be that Bitcoin reaches its RVI as in traditional bull runs, as we've seen, in the past. However, it could top out there and perhaps even continue plugging away higher. So Brewster said this, adding that the current demand from companies looking to integrate Bitcoin is unlike anything he's ever seen before in the space. NYDIG began in 2016 and spun off into a separate entity. Okay, so here's just some history on that organization. We've been doing this for a little while, and a lot of things that have happened over the past year are things we expected would happen at some point, and we built a business that would have a longevity that would be able to usher those things into existence. Another quote down here, but I don't think that a lot of the things that we've been seeing in terms of banks getting involved in Bitcoin and Main Street retail companies getting involved in Bitcoin, I didn't think a lot of those things would happen for quite some time, and I've been pleasantly surprised by how much has happened to me here at the end of 2021. So really just kind of looking at the landscape and realizing, more banks than ever are jumping on board. Of course, Bitcoin going to be the beginning of what is going to be an entire cryptocurrency revolution. Ripple and XRP obviously going to be central to that as well. But banks have to get comfortable first, right? Banks have to get comfortable, and we are starting to see that. If this company is successful, we could see Bitcoin being integrated in some capacity to hundreds, if not thousands of more banks by next year. Looking back, Brewster said he would have never guessed that the crypto market would accelerate so quickly. Things that have moved very quickly, things that I would not have expected a couple of years ago, like layer 2 technologies growing or banks adoption, Bitcoin, which Brewster says he expected would take longer to transpire. So there we have it, guys. More Bitcoin integration. A lot of these companies looking to bring Bitcoin into the thousands of banks into the United States. This is not even worldwide, in the US alone. So interesting news there. Something else that I wanted to bring to your attention, if you guys noticed that there were some problems on the Sum app, XRP nodes run by Ripple fell out of sync for over 5 hours and disrupted some wallet service. So this also coming from Michael at Val5Links. The XRP ledger needs improvements to its trust line related traffic to increase the capacity of nodes to handle simultaneous active users. So this has to do with the trust lines, guys. The Sum app, 2 XRP nodes run and maintained by Ripple and developers S1 and S2 recently fell out of sync with the network. The disruption lasted 5 hours, and users of non-custodial wallets like the Sum app and XRPcluster.com were impacted. So just a couple of statements down here from Vitsvin of the Sum wallet. You guys can read those. Though XRP has a throughput of 1,500 transactions per second, this does not account for the trust line. So that is the new development that we have seen on the XRPL, but I guess they weren't anticipating so much activity, and the XRPL, the nodes that were running it, were having some problems. When users plan on receiving payments in anything other than XRP, they need a trust line to that asset's issuing account. This helps avoid token spam and gives users the power to decide what assets to hold and receive. So just giving you a little bit of information about that. The amount of trust lines and tokens on the XRP network has exploded beyond the tested or expected numbers. This has disrupted the activity of the XRP ledger's public nodes. XRPL public nodes and clusters are being scaled up, but aren't ready for the higher volume of trust line transactions. And just to kind of add to that, Vitsvin actually did answer some questions over Twitter, and the Wrath of Kahneman sums up some of the most frequently asked questions, I suppose, a synopsis of recent XRPL issues cherry-picked from Vitsvin and some support threads. Lots to learn and maybe even free them from answering some of the same questions over and over. It's a long thread to see it through. Some important XRPL things are going on, so it is a 12-tweet thread here. And guys, I will link this in the description. I'm not going to go over every single question that has been asked, but Wrath of Kahneman does try to kind of keep it concise and direct. So like, what was the problem? The 2 public XRPL nodes run by Ripple were out of sync with the XRPL for 5 hours. These 2 nodes in particular are relied on too much. And so retweeting out some support here with that same answer. And you guys can take a look if you are interested. Another one down here. Basically, all the trash trust line airdrops are overwhelming the XRPL right now, as they largely funnel through 2 nodes. Some trust line optimization and increased infrastructure are needed. All these airdrops depend on a network that they are not invested in. So lots going on the XRPL. However, some of these trust lines weren't able to keep up, and because 2 of the nodes were down. Anyway, again, I will leave this in the description, a lot of questions and answers. If you guys are into the trust lines, have set those up for yourself. So again, just another resource for you from the Wrath of Kahneman, and of course Vitsvin from some support. Wanted to bring this to you guys from DJ Peter Vass. Moving to the other side of the world, to Japan, SBI boss says that China is leading the CBDC race ahead of the US and Europe. The CEO of the Japanese financial heavyweight and crypto player SBI Holdings, Yoshitaka Kitao, has spoken out about central bank digital currencies. So here's an interview, some quotes from Yoshitaka Kitao. Firstly, he says China is currently leading the world in digital fiat technology. Kitao was quoted by the domestic media outlet Dime by stating, China is the most advanced nation in the field of CBDC technology, with the United States and Europe following suit. He noted that the world of trade finance, fiat, was currently dominant, but asserted this was only the case so far. He mused that this could quickly change if a CBDC became a national currency. Kitao, who is also a member of the Ripple board, claimed that market players must venture into new financial markets and develop new financial products accordingly. So he is essentially saying, China at the helm, right now, they are, focusing on this. They are moving full steam ahead. Of course, want to release their CBDC, want to roll that out on a wider scale. He also noted it was difficult for domestic banks to work on cutting-edge fields like CBDCs at this point, adding that SBI's own research unit was working intensively and conducting research into digital fiat relation innovation. Luckily, there is a Ripple connection there for the interoperability if some of these CBDCs do not play nicely with one another. So the Central Bank of Japan is currently testing its own digital yen prototype, but like most advanced economies, with the exception of China and its digital yuan project, is yet to commit to a CBDC launch. Kitao also stated that crypto and digital assets would experience more growth in the future, adding, I think the digital asset finance sector will advance to the point where the digital economy, including cashless society efforts, have already penetrated. So he's looking at CBDCs as inevitable. Cashless societies, governments are definitely pushing these. However, are we going to see a true cashless society, zero fiat notes in the next year, 2 years, 3 years? I think it's going to be hard to get rid of cash. And, there's a big movement that wants to always keep cash in circulation. For the obvious reasons. Privacy to be one of the big ones. We don't want our governments, by and large, to have complete control and complete oversight over where we spend our money. And so, this is the thinking. If we keep cash into circulation, there will never be a 100% cashless society, even though it is inevitable. CBDCs are coming. Much of the world will be running digitally on digital payments. So SBI's own crypto-related activity has boomed in recent years, so it gives you guys a little bit of background on SBI. The company also co-owns SBI Ripple Asia, as we know, in conjunction with Ripple. Then this just talks about some of their other projects and connections that they have. Talks a little bit about SBI VC Trade. Anyway, I'll link this in the description if you guys are interested. Yoshitaka Kitao, though, realizing, CBDCs, really part of the future, pushing into this new coming decade. China is at the forefront, but he says the United States and Europe still do have a fighting chance at competing, being on the forefront. Of course, we have the regulatory clarity issues in the US that we are currently working through, and that is unfortunately stifling a bit of the progress. Anyway, wanted to thank DJ Peter Vass for posting that. Another one here, guys, and this is happening today. So there is a fireside chat with Gary Gensler and Jay Clayton, and apparently, according to Charles Gasparino, there is going to be a prominent XRP member at the fireside chat who will be grilling Gensler and Clayton. I want to play you guys a little bit of this clip from yesterday on Fox Business News. Here, listen to this.
Conference tomorrow. It's in New York. It's put on by a company called Solidus. And here's where it's going to get really interesting. It's essentially a fireside chat. Two of the people next to the fire will be Jay Clayton, the former SEC chief, and Gary Gensler, the current SEC chief, who are neck deep in crypto regulation, particularly against XRP and Ripple. XRP is the cryptocurrency started by people associated with Ripple. Ripple is being sued by the SEC. Clayton sued him his last day in office for selling for people associated with the company, including its CEO, Brad Garlinghouse, selling XRP, and it should, they believe it was a security. They say, the XRP people say, no, it wasn't, it's a currency. They said you weren't registered. They sued them, huge case. It's going to set the tone, essentially, for crypto regulation. And you're going to have the two principals of that case on stage together. Gary Gensler is moving forward with this case incredibly aggressively. As you know, Jay Clayton, last thing in office. We've written a huge expose on the SEC Ripple case and the regulatory implications on foxbusiness.com. You should check it out. Ellie Tarrant and myself, her biology did amazing reporting. We spent the better half of a month or 2 months digging this stuff up. And here's what we understand. There are going to be XRP people and a prominent XRP person at the fireside chat, grilling both of them on certain questions, including why was XRP and Ripple attacked by the SEC as a decentralized, as a centralized network. It wasn't decentralized. Thus, they were Garling House and Company were selling securities that were unregistered. Why didn't you do that with Bitcoin and particularly Ethereum? And I'll tell you, this could get a little rowdy tomorrow, and that's why I'm sending someone other than me. I don't want to get caught in the crossfire.
Or are you scared?
I'm scared. Yes. No.
So Charles Gasparino just discussing what is happening today. This aired yesterday, and so it is happening today. He says that he is also going to have a journalist there at the fireside chat, but that Ripple, the XRP community, there's going to be a prominent figure there grilling these two guys. I really do wonder who it is going to be. Is it going to be BitBoy? Is it going to be Stuart Alvarado? Who knows? Who would you like to see there, guys? Put it down in the comments. I'm curious to know. I'm curious to see what is going to happen here. Gary Gensler just tweeting this out. Mark your calendars. Next week on Wednesday, December 1st, which is today, guys, I'll be joining former SEC Chairman Jay Clayton for a fireside chat at the 2021 DACOM Summit, or DACOM, I don't know how that's pronounced, the Digital Asset Compliance and Market Integrity Summit in New York. So there we have it, guys. Fireside chat happening today, and I will be bringing you any updates from this chat in upcoming videos. Wanted to mention this, guys, as well, because there have been some interesting developments, and sometimes when understanding the future, you have to go back to the past. Digital Asset Investor originally did this video a couple of years ago outlining Anders L's tweet thread here from 2019, which I will link in the description of the video. The Great Ripple Conspiracy. What if it all leads back to Ripple and David Schwartz? Now, this was a tweet thread based on this idea that David Schwartz could be Satoshi Nakamoto, and I have also talked about this in previous videos. This would shake the crypto market to its core if it was proven true. So he goes on, and there's a lot of evidence here to suggest this. I'm not going to get into this in depth, but if you guys are interested, you can take a look at this tweet thread, again from 2019. One of the biggest points here was this from Pastebin. This was an excerpt, I believe, from an email from way back in 2019. Satoshi Nakamoto mentioned this, also stating that Ripple is interesting and that it's the only other system that does something with trust besides concentrated into central servers. Mentioned by Satoshi Nakamoto back in 2009? Huh. Okay. A lot of interesting little tidbits. Of course, we also have the David Schwartz patent for DLT technology from 1988. We know that David Schwartz did work for the CIA, or he was contracted by the CIA. So a lot of interesting information. If you guys are not caught up on this, you might want to read this tweet thread and explore a little further. But then, before he died, John McAfee also posted something that I think many of us would think is interesting. Satoshi is and always has been the only person it could ever be. At Joel Katz, the time is now. So some of you may have also known about this. John McAfee tweeting this out, basically doxing Joel Katz as Satoshi if this were the case. I don't know how much credibility we could put into that tweet. Unfortunately, McAfee is not with us today, so we cannot go back and ask him where his mind was at when tweeting that out. So I'm going to go to Google. This is what Tess Hope says. I'm going to go to Google what BTC is. So they are saying that the tax fraud charges were a pretext for getting McAfee back to the US. So there's a bigger story surrounding this. We know John McAfee has been into cryptocurrency, specifically Bitcoin, for a while now. There's a lot of socio-political issues that surrounded his story and his life. It's just too broad to dive into in this video. But anyway, I will leave this here, guys, from Spiritual Warlord and this original tweet here, this tweet thread from Anders L back a couple of years ago. I also did a video at the beginning of 2020 where Tiffany Hayden also reveals some information that I think we should be paying attention to. Here's a clip from that video. Well, you know what? Tiffany Hayden dropped a bomb on Twitter. So Backup Bradley, first of all, puts up this poll, okay? Who is the real Satoshi? And he gives some suggestions. David Schwartz, Craig Wright, who's clearly not Satoshi, the government, or none of the above. So a lot of people pointing towards David Schwartz, some people towards the government, some people towards none of the above. This is quite an equal spread, first of all. 42.4% clearly David Schwartz is the winner, but, the government trailing with 30% and none of the above with 26.9%. Okay. So then, XRP Myrtle Beach posts this screen grab, something Tiffany Hayden said on Twitter, the same people who created Bitcoin also created XRP. Whoa, what? I hope you'll be able to carry on with life, but considering it's been over 7 years and you haven't been able to figure out the difference between a digital asset and a private company, I won't hold my breath. Okay, making a joke about probably a previous comment that we can't see up here. And XRP Myrtle Beach responds, so Joel Katz created Bitcoin? And Tiffany Hayden responds, ask Jed. Well, ask Jed? Are you kidding me? Is there more down here? No, just ask Jed. So, is she saying that the same person who created Bitcoin created XRP? And for those of us who want the real answer, we should ask Jed McCaleb. Yes, one of the co-founders of Ripple. I seriously wasn't expecting to get up this morning and see this on Twitter. We have been saying it for months now, and even putting together the pieces, with these types of videos and the Rothschilds, the Economist article with the burning Phoenix XRP, solving the clues to the puzzle. And Tiffany Hayden just added another interesting clue. So I'm going to cut it there, guys. There was another video I did as well with Tiffany Hayden bringing up some IP addresses that link Mt. Gox, founded by Jed McCaleb, the original OG Bitcoin exchange, to an IP address that was pre-Bitcoin and that was also linked to a government agency, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have that video up right now, but I'm sure if you look through my back catalog, you will be able to find it. Well, another revelation has come to us, guys, and this one from just today. Stéphane Hubert. Folks, this is huge. This is the first Bitcoin transaction from January 3rd, 2009, and it is directly linked to Coinbase. Coinbase newly generated coins. The address is listed by Coinbase itself as a contact with the SEC. However, Coinbase was founded in 2012. What the F is going on here? So, just to bring you this, guys, this hot off the press from this morning, about an hour and a half as of the recording of this video. Today is the 5th anniversary of Bitcoin, or on about January 3rd, 2009, Bitcoin's synonymous creator, Satoshi Nakamoto, mined the first 50 Bitcoins and started the Bitcoin payment network. We know that as the initial date. So let me go to this first, Coinbase Global. This was their report, their statement that they sent to the SEC. And for whatever reason, they copied Satoshi Nakamoto with this address here, 1A1, ZP2, EP5Q, GEFI, 2D, MP, so on and so forth. Okay, I won't read out the full thing. And where do we see that address? Well, we see it here, Coinbase, newly generated coins. We see that address come up over and over again. What the heck is going on here? Coinbase, of course, was founded in 2012. And so why are they listing this address, the same address used by Satoshi Nakamoto back in 2009, January of 2009, to mint the first 50 Bitcoins on the blockchain network? Things that make you go, So I did have a bit of a conversation over Twitter with Stéphane Hubert, and he was trying to come up with some possible explanations for this. And so to play devil's advocate, he was suggesting, maybe it is nothing. He's saying, maybe it could be that Coinbase just named themselves after the first Satoshi transaction and that it has nothing to necessarily do with Coinbase existing pre-2012. He says that could be an explanation. He was also saying that, the address was in the description as a disclaimer. So Satoshi's address here just, mentioned here because they wanted to be transparent with the SEC. However, it does spark some more questions with regards to this ongoing saga. The people that founded Ripple, we were already on a track, assuming they were Satoshi Nakamoto. Now we're seeing this Coinbase connection to Satoshi Nakamoto. Of course, guys, we have to remember the cryptocurrency community back at that time was very, very small. And so is there a connection that we don't know about between, let's say, Jed McCaleb, David Schwartz, Coinbase, Satoshi, Ripple, and XRP? Is it all connected? I don't know. Tell me down in the comments what you guys think, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.